everybody, it's more of the JavaScript party. I'm a bloody wreck. This is her favorite kind of nut, almond. As far as I know, she's 100% sure it's her favorite. That one definitely ranks up there. So I have kind of changed the way I do things, and now I've broken my code out to its own branch, and looks like based on the name of the branch that we're going to move, or I'm going to remove the reference to a mesh object. Said that yesterday. But basically, I think the way, I should probably, the way you find out is, or the way you can kind of issue demonstrate out of things. Long mesh. There it is. I have a bit of, last night my son, daughter-in-law, they were paying a concert, so screaming my head off. That's what but you see that we have this 3-mesh. It's STC. Since we don't really have any changes, it's safe to assume I'm not sure. Come here and probably go to ST, so that is over here. Probably there's a ton of different ways to do it. Looks like we did it all. So if I remember correctly, looking at services. So in our mesh service, it actually keeps a dictionary. So probably, hopefully, everywhere. You don't hit it like that. Double cut it so it's. But it looks like in our service that we just look at a second. We already have a dictionary. So wherever it's just referencing it's directly, I should be able to put, use the JS service to retrieve the 3. So this can't even, and one nice thing is this can't even, the whole thing will break it. This isn't one of those, so break it until I remove this if it's possible. Very, very possible. So right here, STC service. Get base mesh. That 3-mesh is no longer. The question is reference to our 3-mesh service. And then I guess I can't remember exactly how we set this up, but it's possible that I expose, because I don't think there's a question. ST mesh service must have access to. Hope you guys can hear me. I just realized I didn't have my headphones on this whole time. So I have no idea what you could hear. I'll definitely look at the video before I upload it. So if you can't really hear until a certain part, I turn it up. But basically now we have
we know for sure. I'm confident that ST mesh service has access to 3 service. So if I go here, then you see we do have mesh service, which is the 3 mesh service, right? Mesh. Yeah, see, 3 mesh service. So, and 3 mesh service is the one. So I don't know. We're in sort of the early days here, but it seems like what we really want. See, this will get your mesh by the ID. We need in here, we should probably say get 3 mesh by ID. And I think that means, I think that's, yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to say get 3 mesh by ID. Oh, I did mention, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you could hear before through the microphone because it was, my headphones were all over there. Um, Last night I was at my son's concert. He had a gig for his band, and I was screaming my head off, so my throat is very scratchy today. Um, this returns a 3 mesh. Mesh. I believe that's how we want to do that. And then I usually, in this one, okay, so this one I'm putting these on the next line. And then this will accept an ID, which is a number. And then it will go to, so let's just call this const 3 mesh is equal to this dot mesh service dot get mesh by ID. And I did not do that out of memory. And we will give it our ID. And this is, and we can just say return. I think that's good. I hate having a function that just literally does one line of code, but I think in this case it might be easier. And this is a stid. I just know that in the future I'm going to want, I wonder, maybe, I don't know. I wonder if, I just feel like it'll be very confusing if I don't um, do that. Okay, so stmesh 3 mesh doesn't exist. Oh, oh my gosh, I'm being so silly. All right, so I don't think we need this. Because in crate we're already doing it. And it is, I just didn't realize when I started this that it was going to end up being a whole function that literally just calls one line of code. Um, okay, so this is broken. So, okay, so okay, at this point he already knows how to get the 3 mesh. So basically we can just comment this line of code out completely. And then when we go through before the commit, I'll just delete everything. I mean, I'll delete this commented code, hopefully. So, okay, so that was broken. Okay, so, okay, this is where we started. In the ST scene, okay, so, scene, ST mesh service. So this guy does not have, oh my gosh, I'm in some kind of weird Groundhog Day thing. All right, so base mesh gets set here. Great mesh, base mesh. So, oh, okay, so that's why. So we have this is our ST scene, this is our ST mesh. our ST mesh will create the base mesh, which let's go ahead and just step through that. Go to the implementation. It'll create this thing, and then this is our 3Mesh service. I create, and it creates a mesh ID. And then here's where we would assign it. So it does create the mesh ID. So for the ST, and so that was the question. Oh, okay, so that was more the question is, should the scene service have access to the 3Mesh service? Because right now it doesn't. I feel like the ST services should be able to talk to the 3 services, even if it isn't their thing. So I'm gonna see how that works out. I'm gonna say private. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm creating an instance to the 3Mesh service, and then what I have been, I guess yeah, this is scene service. So since it doesn't say 3 in front of it, so it must be a 3. Which, oh man, I wonder if I'm gonna end up creating like um, other kinds of like music services and other things like that, and then it'll be like not. It would have been so much better to have the word 3 in front of all these. And I guess there's no reason this can't have the word 3. So now I'm kind of getting out of, there's kind of 2 ways to look at this. I'm getting out of the standard. We have a standard way of doing things. I'm getting out of the standard, or we could look at it as I'm evolving. And since this is a personal project, I feel more comfortable. I would rather evolve than sort of stay consistent with previous me's. So mesh service is equal to inject, and mesh service. And then from our 3Mesh set service, we can set the base service. No, I mean the base ID. Okay, so this gets our mesh, and then we want our 3Mesh. Colon st mesh. I mean mesh. I think I do 3 dot mesh. This is equal to this dot 3 service dot get mesh by ID and base ID. And then instead of using our base 3Mesh, we use our 3Mesh. So now instead of like just having it on the object, the ST object, we're getting it from the ST ID. I mean the mesh ID. So we're getting our scene. We have our scene, and create scene 3Mesh. We add our mesh string. So it is kind of weird because this is supposed to be a array of them. But I guess by default we give you the one. Hmm. So anyways, let's hit save and see if we have more transpiler errors. Yep. Okay, so this is our animation service. So our animation service, do we want this to have, or it may already have access. I think the animation service just needs to have access to everything. I mean, it's just like a super service. Um, but right now, I'm not giving it access to any three stuff, it looks like. So that's a little bit, makes me wonder what that was all about. All right, well, I'm going to do it. So I think what we need to do is over here, I think it'll just take care of everything for us. That's so interesting, recycle. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. So I'm calling this three mesh service. Mesh service. Sometimes it will just automatically bring it in for you. Sometimes it'll give you like a little helper to let it in, and then sometimes you just got to go figure it out yourself how to import it. It looks like it might, well, we won't know until I do this. Yeah, it looks like it just auto imported the three mesh service for us. So down here, we're doing the same pattern, const 3 mesh is equal to a 3 dot mesh. And it is a this dot mesh, 3 mesh service. And I know it may feel like I'm over engineering here, but it's like I'm engineering so that like, okay, what is service? And it's saying that, and I called it 3, right? Yeah, 3 mesh service. And it's saying that 3 mesh service. Oh, that's the whole. Gosh, dot get mesh by ID. I do that all the time. I cannot believe how often I do that. Where I only somehow I end up only having the service name and not the actual um, and not having the function name. All right, so 3 mesh, and then update it and give it this mesh, and I guess it will take this 3 mesh object and apply the animation to it. All right. So it looks like we might be good to go. I feel like it would have broken really fast. So at this point, let's look at our code changes. I think they're all super simple. I think there was one comment that I wanted to make sure I removed. I'll tell you, a few of these things throughout the code can be very helpful, but boy, does it get out of hand quickly, where basically you just have iterations and iterations of commented out code. So that was pretty painless. I think that all makes sense. Um, let's see if we have any broken unit tests. Test. Yesterday, I kind of went on a little temper tantrum about unit testing and the new byte and how, like, by the default code, what happens is you run the unit test and you don't have full test coverage. And basically, um, byte sees signals as branches. Now, what I'm wondering, and ChatGPT just gave me the worst advice on how to deal with it. Um, but I'm wondering now if you actually execute the signal or emit the signal or whatever, if then you get that, um, then you get coverage for that branch. And that would make sense because, like, if you're never emitting a signal, then it probably shouldn't be a signal. Um, but maybe not. Maybe because Angular does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So, gosh, I just don't know. It's because behind the scenes, Angular is wiring things up between the template and the um, and the value. So it might actually be really good to do that as a signal, even though you're not. It's just it's kind of a bummer because once it's in the template, it should know that that is going to get run. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe your unit test has to render the actual time template. And it is possible that if you started adding more unit tests, that might just naturally just go away because the things do definitely change. Okay, so we had one unit test fail. I just wonder. So. I think I want to include the unit test fix. So it looks like all we have to do is comment this out. Interesting. So this creates a normal, and then I guess what we need to do, oh, that's a normal. Oh, const mesh. Okay, so never mind. Oh, boy, did I misread this test. Okay, so we have our ST mesh, and guessing it's a mock. Mesh has three mesh. I'm wondering how does this thing even get set? Oh, hmm. So we're actually getting like a legit three mesh when we created new three material. No, this. Oh, okay. So okay, man, what in the world did I do here? Oh, up here, I bet you I create a geometry. Okay, get base. Yes, so we create our mesh right here. When we create this, we will actually get a three mesh too. So this is where we want to do this. I think three mesh is equal to. All right, so now I'm confused. How did I get my mesh service right here? I guess this would be the best place to do it. Let mesh service colon. I'm just sort of mimicking what I see above. Mesh service. This is weird. Why is it having such a hard time finding this? Okay, this sucks. All right, okay. So this is our ST mesh service. It is nice though, because I'm like, I really understand what's going on here. It's easy to get confused. From. Guess we have to do this all on our own. Dot dot slash three slash mesh slash mesh service semicolon. All right, so we have our mesh service now. So our three mesh comes from our mesh service. I did that right. Okay, so this should be lowercase. Mesh service, just out of habit. Mesh service dot get mesh by ID mesh ID. All right, well, now what am I doing wrong? Oh, I didn't inject it into the injector. I would be lying if I said I understood that. Like that whole injecting thing. I'm always very fascinated by that, but you end up down rabbit holes so quickly the minute you start digging into that. And for some reason I declared okay, clear that. Okay, const. Well, I clear my st mesh. Where does my oh, right here. But where do I declare it? Where do I give it a see there? So I guess I should, I don't know. I don't know exactly why, but I think I should just be a copycat and do the same thing. Declare it up here at this level. Oh, I guess, yeah, you kind of have to so that you can get access, so that anything outside of this before each can have access to it. So let 3mesh. And this is a 3mesh. So 3mesh, 3mesh. Oh, and then I need to set it, right? No, I'm setting it. I think I can just get rid of this mesh altogether and go down here and say 3mesh. Wait. Yeah, I thought when I got rid of this, it broke. Like there's a test looking for a rotation or something down there. But it looks like since it's in before each, mesh is always, I think I call it 3mesh, right? So that's actually a 3mesh, like created by ThreeJS, if this works. And that was very difficult to understand in this test because it was named mesh, not 3mesh. I don't think that, yeah, when the unit tests don't pass, then it doesn't rewatch or it doesn't watch the test itself. That's one thing Byte has that's nice is it watches the actual tests instead of the source code exclusively. And that might be some setting that I did now that I think about it. Okay, so that all looks like everything was able to get transpiled, which is a good sign. See if these tests pass. I'll admit I don't have a full grasp on what that one test that we just altered does because it does, but because I think what it does is it actually generates and uses the ThreeJS library to actually generate a object. So we have 100% passing, and then come in here, and I don't know what is happening. Oh, I wasn't scrolling down. That's funny. And we have 100% test coverage. So what's left? What's left is so we're done with unit tests, and then Cypress, I think all I want out of Cypress is for everything to still pass. Doesn't seem like anything we did at this point is really detectable um, from a Cypress perspective. Open colon Cypress. No, Cypress colon. and it's run Cypress. Nope. Yeah. What did I do? I think the unit test just did something there. That was weird. Run Cypress open. Now, at some point, I might end up like having like a. Well, I probably will end up having like a view of the options. So I'm wondering, okay, so could that be something that would be testable from a Cypress thing? No, because it's just really where the object exists. So, as everyone likes to say, the word abstract, it'd be completely abstracted away. Um, come on. But yeah, so I think Vite is going to end up being better, and I suspect I just got really bad advice from um, ChatGPT. I think I can, in fact, update if I do call the signal. I bet you that branch gets covered, and that may actually be what they're hoping for. Is that like people start setting them, like setting all the variables and stuff that are going to be displayed in the template in the in like the constructor or the n on it or something like that. Let's see. It's 49 degrees out there, partly cloudy. Gosh, this is taking freaking forever. Why is this taking so long, Rhett? There we go. I was ready, that's for sure. Oh, okay, so I was like sitting and going, okay, how do you tell if a test is done? I think it's when that stops counting. Yeah, see, it's still counting. As long as these numbers up here are advancing once your test isn't done. So that's the easiest visual way to tell. I think resize has a bug in it. It's the one. It's like a captured bug. Oh, yeah, there it is. So everything seems good. I can't see how we're gonna have any unexpected failures. All right, so that's cool. So that is a done deal. Yeah, that stopped on its own. And Control C. Uh, this is going to be video. 341. And I hope that there was volume at the beginning of this. Git, git comment. Oh well, this is video 341. Let's find a commit. There we go. 341. And this was issue number 1. know if you probably should not put that in. Like in a professional environment, you probably don't want to put the hashtag because that'll end up tripping up other tools down the line. Um, hash, or could. It just depends on what tools, but there are a lot of tools that are designed to look for hashtags and build stuff and create links and stuff. So sometimes you can get some weird results. Um, okay, video issue, do that. Um, removes 3mesh mesh reference. All right, and I'm going to commit this. I don't think these have been staged, have they? So that means I probably have not actually gone over them with, well, they've already been, yeah, I've actually been through them because I usually do that sort of looking for console logs. I'm guessing that's my son. He'll probably call my wife next. We are going to the mall to get pictures of my granddaughter with Santa Claus. Here we go. All staged. And we push GITPUSH. And we go over to our GitHub. We go to my GitHub. And then repos. And then space and time. And then we go to this guy here, compare and pull request. So what I'm trying to do now is merge my code into the main branch. Um, and this is a good time to just scroll down and look at all your changes as they are going to get placed in there. And then you can say create, assign it to myself. I'm the one who's going to review it. So at this point, typically somebody will get an email with a link to this, whoever's uh, going to review it. And then you click these buttons and you can see all the code. And I find that most people, when they do pull requests, they don't actually pull the actual changes down to their local and try it out. But that's probably the ideal thing to do. Um, so we're trying to uh, merge this one commit into the main, and then that'll be done. So if I go back to conversations, I believe most things I've had are typically this is called overview or something like that that I've ever worked with, but conversations is a little weird. Um, that confirm the merge. Usually I like to delete the branches out here, mostly because there's so many of them. And then we come back over here and issue 1 is done. Let's see, let's look at our oldest first. Okay, so the next one will be remove the reference to our ST material object. So what did we just do? Well, we did mesh. Our mesh no longer, we never even looked either. Oh, redo this. I never actually even looked to see that it's not in there. That is so classic me too. But so now we're going to do ST material object. So I'm going to assign this to myself. And then I'm going to create a branch. I'm going to create it and check it out locally. There. But before I do that, what is going on? Do we not? I guess I stopped it. It's probably better to check out the new branch. So you can just paste that code. I can just paste that in there. I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be different. But you see, we're on a new branch now. PM start. I never, ever, ever, ever actually laid eyes on the actual fix. I can't believe how often that happens too. You get so fixated with all the different achieving all the little things that you never even check to see if uh if it was fixed. I'm gonna be very frustrated if it's not. If I look in there and that one was the mesh and there's a mesh, a ThreeJS, I can't see how that could have possibly happened, but so in our mesh. So we no longer have that three um thing. So anyways, we are in our new material. So tomorrow, basically, it's just going to be a carbon copy of today, but for materials. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.